My name is Felix Rosado. I was commuted from a death by incarceration sentence 2 years ago. I spent 27 years in prison.
My name is Brosius. I was commuted from a life sentence 6 years ago. I spent 24 years in prison.
My name is Henrietta Harris. I was commuted from a life sentence 2 years and 10 months ago. I spent 35 and a half years in prison.
My name is Avis. I was commuted from a life sentence 3.5 years ago. I served a total of 40 years, 6 months, and 12 days.
My name is Robert Faruq Wideman. I was commuted from a life sentence 5 years ago. I spent 44 years in prison.
The worst part of my prison sentence was waking up every morning knowing that there was no end in sight.
The worst part of being in prison is being away from your loved ones.
The worst part of my prison sentence was losing loved ones, not being there to raise my daughters, watching my parents grow older as I was there, and coming home seeing them not who I remember them as.
The worst part of my prison sentence was losing my mom and my sister, not being able to watch my sons grow up into young men.
The worst part of my prison sentence was I entered the prison system when I was 19, and I returned home when I was 60. So I left my youth in that prison.
Commutation is a reduction of a sentence. Without commutation, we were expected to die in prison. I would describe the commutation process as arbitrary, unfair, and political.
It took me almost 4 years from the time I started to the time I got released to complete the process. It's just horrible. Nobody should be put through such a long, stressful process.
I would describe the commutation process as one of the most horrific things I've ever been through. It's undescribable for me. It's no words. I just could not stand looking at the pain in my loved ones' eyes and faces and hearing it in their voices. It just got to be too much. Something needs to happen to change that process, because that alone would cause a person to go insane and just give up.
I would describe the commutation process as arduous, stressful, and more often than not, biased.
I would describe the commutation process as first and foremost political, and in too many cases, inconsiderate. Most of the ones I knew came to prison as children, as I did. I was 24 years old, but I was a child at heart. And I know them and know they were. But young men change.
I would describe those I left behind as leaders, as mentors, as equally deserving of freedom as me, if not more.
I left behind amazing, amazing women, people that I truly found true friendships in, and just wish they all had a second chance like I have.
Growing up and being in prison for 3.5 decades, I had a whole other family. So I left behind sisters that I love dearly, I miss dearly. I think about them every single day.
The people I left behind inside since being commuted are like my family. I'm 63 years old. I spent almost 41 years with them, not my birth family. So when I came home, it's like I left a piece of me, a part of my soul in that prison.
A few words to describe who I left behind. Some of the best men I know. I have helped fulfill some of the dreams in a group that we had established. Some of our plans were to create a 3-quarter house ran by returning citizens, and we would have a place for other returning citizens to come home and to find a place to learn and to find how to live again out here in the world, called the House of Life. I want to see all the men get out that can get out.
My favorite part of not being in prison is being able to come home every day after work, put my key in the door, walk in and close it behind me, and be in my own home. The thing I'm most proud of since coming home is becoming a first-time dad of my precious daughter, Jubilee. We were given a second chance, and in some cases a first chance, and are living it out.
Something I'm not taking for granted being home is my freedom. Being able to get my license, drive a car, hold a job for the last 5 years and being promoted within that job. Being able to conquer this technology, the new technology out here. Being a grandmother for the first time. It's so awesome.
Something I've been proud of since I come home from prison is my adjusting to a society that I hadn't been in decades. I just want to love and enjoy this new life that I have. I feel like it was a rebirth, like I was just born again.
Something I've been proud of since I came home is to show myself and my community that people do change, that they're able to transform their lives and to be assets to wherever they are.
Being home is a blessing, one that the world had said I'd never have. I take that blessing, wake up with it every morning, thank God that I'm out here, and when I go to bed at night, thank Him for that day of freedom.